Howdy, my name is Shelby, and I will be defending Homolodisca vitripennis, commonly known as the glassy-winged sharpshooter.
Howdy, my name is Beth, and I am defending the olive fruit fly or Bactrocera oleae. And the topic of our debate is which species causes the greatest loss for olive oil producers?
Homolodisca vitripennis, the glassy-winged sharpshooter, is an insect belonging to the true bug order Hemiptera. The glassy-winged sharpshooter is a large leafhopper, the adults of which have wings. These bugs are almost half an inch long, brown, and have glassy brown wings with red veins. They feed almost exclusively on plant xylem, using piercing and sucking mouthparts. The glassy-winged sharpshooters can produce up to 2 generations per year and display hemimetabolous metamorphosis. After hatching as eggs, the wingless nymphs emerge and molt 5 times, eventually emerging as a winged adult. These bugs are most active first in late winter or early spring, and then again in late summer. These bugs feed only on plants and are large vectors of the plant bacterium Xylella fastidiosa. Unlike other leafhoppers, their larger wings allow them to travel further from plant to plant, therefore spreading more disease. These bugs are an agricultural vexation, as the bacterium they mechanically vector has many strains and can affect a wide variety of fruit producing plants. The plant disease caused by X fastidiosa is incurable and results in plant death.
A member of the order Diptera, Bactrosa oleae, or the olive fruit fly, is an important pest that impacts olive plants worldwide. As an adult, this fly is quite small, only about 5 millimeters long, with a wingspan of about 10 millimeters. The thorax and the abdomen are similarly marked with a yellow and black coloration. Adults will feed on honeydew and bird droppings, while their larvae will feed on the olives produced on the tree. These flies will reproduce at astonishing rates. Females can lay, on average, 500 eggs in their lifetime, which is about 6 months. This means that in about a year, these olive flies can produce 5 to 6 generations each year. To lay their eggs, females are equipped with a serrated ovipositor that they use to saw through the outside of olives. They lay the eggs inside the open olives. After the eggs hatch, the larvae will feed on the inside of the olive until adulthood. This can cause extensive damage to the olives and a loss in crop size. This loss in crops can create a decrease in olive oil production, which can cause a negative impact on the economy.
While the olive fruit fly may be a significant pest, infestations do not necessarily always result in extreme loss to producers. While infested olives will produce oil that is not chemically formulated to be used as virgin olive oil, it can still be used as regular olive oil. The olive fruit fly also does not harm the olive tree itself, only the fruit of one season. Whereas when the glassy winged sharpshooter transmits the disease to olive plants, it results in certain loss as the entire olive plant dies and becomes incapable of ever producing olives again. The damages from the damages from the olive fruit fly are shorter term than the death of the entire olive plants caused by the glassy winged sharpshooter. Following the death of the olive tree, producers must uproot and replant the olive tree. The average maturation time for olive plants to bear fruit is about 5 years, meaning that damage caused by the glassy winged sharpshooters is long term and can take years for olive oil producers to recover.
Though the disease caused by glassy wing sharpshooters is incurable, there are other methods of control for the insect itself. Additionally, because the glassy winged sharpshooters feed on a variety of plants, they are not solely focused on olive plants, and therefore they do not transmit this disease very effectively, whereas the olive fruit fly larvae feed exclusively on olives. Since the olive fruit fly will eat the inside of the olive, it is impossible to determine if it is infested unless the olive is opened. This could result in losing an unripe olive, and while the producer may still be able to collect olive oil from this olive, it will not be the same amount as an unaffected olive. Virgin olive oil is more sought after than basic olive oil, and therefore it will bring in more revenue. In 2022, it brought a global yield profit of $7.23 billion, while regular olive oil only brought in $651 million. Virgin olive oil is sold at a much higher price and will provide more profit for olive oil producers than regular olive oil. If less virgin olive oil is produced, the revenue brought in will decrease.
Though I understand that some revenue would be lost in the transition from virgin olive oil to olive oil, as well as reduced oil extraction, the glassy winged sharpshooter still results in total loss. And the same could be said regarding control methods for the fruit fly. Many biological control methods are available for fruit flies, as they are often the model insects used in research for creating these control techniques. While there may be some vector control methods available for the glassy wing sharpshooter, they have unpleasant side effects. Pesticides have been noted as the most effective in eliminating glassy wing sharpshooter infestations, but pesticides have negative impacts on the environment around them. The safest alternative for eliminating glassy wing sharpshooters as a vector includes the release of another species into the environment to parasitize their eggs. This could lead to the introduction of another invasive species in some areas, and various issues could follow. The complexity of X fastidiosa is that it is incurable, and therefore a mechanical vector such as the glassy wing sharpshooter has ample opportunities to vector it.
While chemical methods harm the environment and biological methods can still be experimental, it is still easier to identify and treat a glassy winged sharpshooter infestation while the damage is still minimal. Because the olive fly eats the olive from the inside and is not detectable, it is much harder to treat regardless of the treatment methods available. In addition, the olive fly reproduces at a much greater rate than the glassy winged sharpshooter. This means that the olive fly can produce more young to consume more olives. A mature olive tree can produce between 5,000 and 8,000 olives in one season. One olive fly can produce 500 eggs in her lifespan. There is a ratio of one egg to one olive. This means that it takes about 10 olive flies laying one egg in each olive of one tree. An infestation would be able to reproduce in the majority of a grove and virtually not be found. In order to control a species, such as the olive fly, experimental biological control methods would need to be implemented. Those techniques, such as sterile insect releasing and gene editing, are still highly skepticized by the public and would be difficult to put into practice.
Glassy winged sharpshooters vector a deadly bacterium to many fruit producing plants critical to agriculture, including olive trees. Despite this, they are vastly under researched. Vectors of plant diseases are often ignored in the shadow of human disease vectors such as the mosquito. The most prominent research involving the glassy winged sharpshooter is concerning biological vector control agents. Gonatocerus species parasitoid wasps have been used as a means to decrease vector populations as they parasitize the glassy winged sharpshooter eggs. Parasitoid wasps have been shown also to prey on other pest species and reduce their populations. Another use of the glassy winged sharpshooter could be for the xenosurveillance of X fastidosa. Xenosurveillance is the use of insect vectors to determine the levels of pathogens in an area. Because the effects of this disease can be visible, scientists can note the beginning of the spread and analyze glassy winged sharpshooters in the surrounding areas to determine if the disease could be vectored to crops in those areas. The glassy winged sharpshooter is an important vector of the incurable X fastidosa disease caused by mechanical transmission of the bacterium. This disease is damaging to producers of all kinds of fruit crops, not only olive producers. Dedicating more research to controlling the vector or curing the pathogen for this disease would be extremely beneficial to agriculturalists worldwide who are trying to supply society with food. Overall, plant diseases and vectors deserve more attention. As the world's population continues to grow, agriculturalists must be equipped with the tools to continue to provide products.
The olive fruit fly is a major pest of olive trees, some would say the most destructive. The larva will consume the inside of the olive and be virtually undetectable until the olive is harvested and opened. There has been extensive research conducted to determine the most effective methods of control for these pests. Not only have studies been done on the effects these pests have, but research has also been conducted on their muscular movements and their sensitivity to different insecticides. Fruit flies are often used in research as model organisms. These organisms reproduce quickly, are cost effective to rear, and have a genome that has already been extensively studied. They allow us to conduct studies pertaining to human and animal biology in an ethical manner while still optimizing experimentation. Fruit flies also play a critical role in the future of preventative medicine research, as they are often used in the beginning phases of biological control experiments. In more recent studies pertaining to vector-borne disease control, fruit flies have been utilized as model organisms for gene editing experiments. The key to stopping the deadliest animal on Earth, the mosquito, could come into existence because of the use of fruit flies. Because humans share similar genomes with the fruit fly, we are able to test treatments on the flies before we use them on ourselves. While much is known about the olive fly objectively, we still struggle to find a way to eliminate them as pests from the olive oil industry. We face a similar issue as with the glassy wing sharpshooter. Many chemical pesticides will negatively impact the environment, and biological controls can be fickle and hard to accomplish.